What is going on, peeps? Welcome to the Syrian Nomad channel. How's everybody doing? Well, I just wanted to pop on here real quick for everybody, talk about a few things. A few things that were on my mind. Welcome to Syrian Nomad Facebook. If anybody's watching, if you can hear me and see me, please say hello. You can now add up to 3 guests on your broadcast. All right. I don't see anybody watching, but I believe I'm live on a Syrian Nomad here. Whatever case it may be, usually about 5 to 10 people pop on here. I saw one person pop in here. So if you guys can hear me and see me, please press the number 69. Say hello. Good evening to everybody. I have a few things I want to talk about here today. I titled the hangout here, David Gunn's Facebook and Strip Club Experience. And I'll talk a little bit about van life. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I got things to do, so I don't want to be on here too long. But I just wanted to pop in and say a few things here real quick. So, first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about van life. A lot of people have always asked this question before. You know, they always ask. A lot of people that don't know a lot about van life and RV life always ask the same questions, really repetitively. One of the questions that they ask the most: do you have a TV in your van? And I don't have a television in my van. Would I like a television? Yeah, why not? I wouldn't mind having a little television with a swivel. But the thing is the reality is, how many people really watch television nowadays? You can get a lot of your news on the internet, on YouTube, live streams, stuff of that nature. Not that I'm against television or anything like that. When it comes to weather coverage, if you're in a severe weather area, a lot of times you can watch live news on the websites. You can watch it off the internet. So, not that I'm against having a television, but I can live without television. Hey, what's going on, Brent? How you doing, man? So, in a nutshell, there's a lot of live news, stuff of that nature that you can watch directly on the news apps or the news website. Obviously, I get a lot of my news, a lot of my information from YouTube. If I want to watch something, watch it on YouTube. Just trying to live the dream. Seems like you're in a battle with that dude. We're going to get into that now. I'm not in a battle with that dude. I just want to address some lies that were told about me. So anyways, getting back to what I was saying, the van life, there's a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of bad things about it. You know, when you're dealing with inclement weather, it's tough, you know. Like right now in Chicagoland, in the nighttime, it's not that bad. You can sleep in your vehicle even without a fan. It's really not that bad. This year hasn't been that bad. It was humid in the daytime, but it's okay in the nighttime. My air conditioner and generator work, but I was having a little bit of issues with the AC. I don't know if the Freon leaked out or something. It wasn't running that cold last night. I didn't see any condensation outside. With the when you run the AC, you run a lot of condensation. I didn't see that, so I don't know if the Freon leaked out or if the generator is not running right. But you know, here in the Midwest, we got a couple of bad months, which is basically June, July, August. Once you get through that, you know, September, October, November is great. Even May is great. You know, you only got 3 bad months here in the Midwest. with heat and humidity, and it's not every day. It's up and down. It fluctuates. But anyways, a lot of people ask the question about van life. They ask the same question: do you have a television? I don't need television. I can live without television. Not that I'm against television, but like I said, I get a lot of my news and a lot of my entertainment, a lot of information from YouTube. I mean, everything's pretty much posted on YouTube, right? And so that's where I get most of basically my entertainment from, and news and whatever it may be. My phone is my entertainment. My internet is my entertainment. The other question that people ask all the time about van life and RV life: where can you park at? You can park almost anywhere. The question is, can you get away with it? You know, yes, there are city ordinances against overnight parking RVs or sleeping in your vehicle overnight on public streets. Yes, there are private properties that post signs saying no overnight parking. But the question is it really being enforced? Is it really being enforced? And most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, it's not being enforced. Unless you're in a really nice area, you're in a rich, affluent area, you're by the water somewhere, then it's really enforced. You know. The other question that a lot of people don't ask, one of the most difficult things about this life that I do is being able to find potable water. Now you might ask, why do I need to fill my water tank? Well, when the pandemic hit, all the gyms were closed to take a shower, so I had to actually turn on my hot water heater and use my water tank and shower outside of my van. And it came in handy. It was a lifesaver to get a shower. And obviously, I don't need that now, but I'm saying if I did, having water, potable water, you use it to wash dishes, if you ever cook in your van or do stuff like that. I don't use the water out of my water tank to rinse fruits and vegetables because I don't know. I haven't sanitized my water tank. I know there's a process to doing all that, but I just fill up gallons of water and do the fruit washing with that. But one of the most difficult things to find doing this life that I do is being able to find potable water. You can go to a lot of truck stops or stuff of that nature, and they'll have a water spigot near the gas pumps or near where you put air in your tires. But that water is usually not city water. It's not clean. It's like well water, and it's really just there so you could use to fill up your radiator, or if you had to use it to rinse off your windshield or something like that. Yes, it is always good to use a water filter. I don't use a water filter, but I should to purify it a little bit. But if I'm just using it to wash dishes, it's not a big deal. But I'm going to eventually get me a water filter. But a lot of people don't ask this question that don't do this life because they're not experienced. Where do you get water at? You can get water almost anywhere. Gas stations, mechanic shops, fast food businesses, anywhere that's got a water spigot. You never know who's going to let you fill or not. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. It's against the rules. And a lot of these new water spigots now, it's quite interesting. A lot of the new water spigots that are out there, I believe you're doing good things. Okay, Brent, I got you. I don't know what you mean by that. A lot of water spigots that are out there, these new style water spigots, they all require special Allen keys, Allen type keys to open. They're usually like that, some sort of Allen security key. They're behind a locked metal door. So these water spigots are changing, these new style water spigots that are out there to be able to access water. Remember, when you're going to access water from a private property, the proper thing to do and the right thing to do is always ask the clerk or whoever manages or owns that property to, if you could get water, because otherwise it's be considered theft of property, of services. So I always do that, just to be on the safe side, make sure I'm A-okay. But yeah, a lot of people won't ask that question. And that's been a learning experience to me too. You can get water almost anywhere. I've got water at McDonald's, at Taco Bell, at mechanic shops, Firestone, gas stations. You can get it almost anywhere that has a water spigot. The question is, if the water's there, you got to ask them if you can access it. And a lot of people never really get that question. A lot of RVers that are out there that are not doing the life that I'm living, they'll usually fill up at an RV park. But you know what? You got to pay for that. Usually they pay to get a spot and they fill up their water tanks and they get on the road. But a lot of people don't cover how to get water as an urban nomad, as somebody who doesn't go to RV parks and stuff of that nature. And you know what? It is what it is. So if I had a toilet on my rig, that would also be essential to use water to flush your toilet, which I don't have a toilet on my rig. I don't want a toilet on my rig. So it is what it is. I only have one person watching, but anyways, I guess everybody's sleeping. It's a weekday, it's late night. I just wanted to pop in a couple other things. Couple things that David Guns lied about me. He went back to the spot where I was parked at, and he flashed a camera on the pavement and said, Elvis's van is leaking transmission oil or engine oil or whatever. And I don't have an engine oil leak or a transmission oil leak. What it is, my power steering system is leaking. And I had to replace the power steering pump. It was bad. I had bought new hoses and everything, and they replaced the pump, but a new serpentine belt, but it's been leaking from somewhere. I just haven't had the time to go and get it looked at. So I continually have to make sure to check the level on my power steering pump. And the bottom line is sometimes that fluid might be leaking, or sometimes, I overfill or it drips or whatever. And that's what that is. So that's what that is. I just haven't had a time to get around to seeing what's going on with it. The other thing, people were lying about, saying that I got banned from Facebook for 30 days. Yes, I did take down that video that me and my nephew did. Not that it was bad or I did anything wrong. I just thought it wasn't really a particularly good video, or it wasn't really that interesting or important. It was just to get a good laugh and get some giggles in and have people re-upload it to YouTube, which I did, and people will talk about it. So it's irrelevant if I took the video off, because the video is on YouTube, so it doesn't really matter if I have it on or off. And the reason I took it off is I just really didn't like the video that much, to be honest with you. Not that it was a bad video, I just didn't like it that much, so I just took it off. Not that it was forced off or whatever, or anything like that. What else was I going to talk about? We already touched on guns. That's about it. I'm going to touch on... we're going to definitely talk about the strip club. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. I wanted to tell you guys this. My nephew went back to Florida, and we went to a strip club. And it was a very interesting experience I want to tell you guys about a little bit about. How hot is it where you're at, my dude? Well, in the daytime it gets hot and humid, In the nighttime, the temperatures drop, the humidity drastically drops, and it's not that bad. So anyways, I want to touch on the strip club. Okay, I'm not going to say which strip club I went to, but it's a very, very well-known strip club that me and my nephew patronized last night. And it was quite interesting how I have only been to this one strip club I'm talking about 2 times in my life. And the first time I went there, golly, it had to be almost 20 years ago. Maybe it was 2002, maybe 2003, somewhere around there. And I remember I went with a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine that I went with was Little Jimmy. He was a kind of like con artist guy. And I went in there, and And I remember he used to go in there and they used to give you like free hamburgers and fries and pizza to drum up business. And the guys would always, the servers would always come up and try to harass you like 20 or something years ago to keep on buying drinks, keep on buying yourself drinks. And the girls would come up and ask you if you want a lap dance. That was 20 years ago. And my buddy had got me a lap dance, 2 lap dances 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, probably 2003. And I remember it was like $20 a lap dance back at that time. And I guess it was maybe about a 10-minute lap dance or something like that. And there was a white girl that gave me the first lap dance. She really didn't turn me on, do anything for me. And the second one was like an Asian girl, and I liked her. And that was like 20 years ago. So I wanted to go back to this place and see how things changed, see what was going on. And well, right off the bat, I got a negative vibe on Jump Street. I got this message on my phone from this strip club saying I could get free admission to get in. I go there and they say, no, you can't get free admission. We're only going to give you $5 off. So I got a coupon for $5 off. I got in for $10, and I went to sit down with my nephew, and there's about 20 guys in there, probably I don't know, I guess about maybe 15 girls in there or something, 20 girls. They advertise and say they got 50 to 100 girls, but there was, probably 10, 15 girls there or whatever, And they had a good deal on American beer. I think $1.50 to $2 for a beer, but I don't like American beer, Mexican beer was $5, which wasn't a bad price considering Chicagoland, but it is what it is. So anyways, I got in there and my nephew, we got in there, sat down, and there was this one girl that I saw that was walking around. She was a very cute Puerto Rican girl, had a really nice booty on her, curvy. And as I went to get a drink by the bar, I noticed the bartender. I asked her what's for $2, and she said Miller Lite, Miller Genuine Draft, or Coors Light. So I got like a Miller Lite or whatever. And like I said, I don't like American beer, but it was $2, so it is what it is. So anyways, it got me the beer, and as I turned around, the Puerto Rican girl that I told my nephew I liked, she came up to me and she grabbed me by the shoulder, and she's like, your buddy bought you a dance. So what do you mean my buddy bought me a dance? She said, yeah, your buddy bought you a dance. I'm like, come on, get out of here. You got to be kidding me. And she's like, no, let's go upstairs. I'm going to give you a dance. Your buddy bought you a dance. And I thought she was just trying to take me for a ride and scam me into paying her for a dance, because I wasn't going to pay for a dance. I don't want to be teasing her like that. And I went up to my nephew. I said, did you? And I just wanted to make sure. I said, did you really buy me a lap dance? And he said, yeah, man, I bought you a lap dance. Like, go up there and enjoy yourself and get out of my hair for now. So I'm like, okay. So I was like surprised. So anyway, before she came up to me, before the stripper came up to me, it's like, your buddy bought you a dance. It was my nephew. She stopped by my nephew. As I went to buy the $2 beer from the bartender, she demanded a tip. And I'm like, well, it's not like I bought a mixed drink. Why should I tip a bartender for just open me a bottle of beer? I felt offended that this bartender was asking me that I should give her a tip. Not for a bottle of beer. I mean, if you make me a mixed drink, fine, but for just a bottle of beer, come on, man. So I gave her $1 to shut her up. So that was my first. Everything was negative about this club going in there at Jump Street. They lied about the free admission. They said $1.50 beers, and it was $2 for a beer, not $1.50. So they lie about that. The other thing is the seating is very uncomfortable at the strip club. They have these bar stools that are very uncomfortable to sit in, and they have these comfortable couches, but you can't sit there. It's for VIPs and all that kind of stuff, high rollers. So the seating was uncomfortable. And so anyways, getting along with the story, when the stripper came up to me, she's like, well, let me go up there and give you a lap dance. And And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, and I asked her a question. I'm like, I'm just curious, what did he pay you for a lap dance? Because I remember back when I went 20 years ago, it was $20. She said, it's $60. I said, $60? Yeah, she says $60, and I'll dance. I'll give you a lap dance. You get 5 songs. I'm like, okay. So as we went up to the second floor, I went up with her, and there was a girl there that was selling drinks, and she asked me what kind of drink I wanted to buy the stripper, and I was asking, well, how much is this drink? You know, the drinks run 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, $15. I'm like, and I was frustrated. I said, what? And then she's like, well, we'll sell her a water for $6, a glass, this fancy spring water in a glass. I'm like, okay. So when I went to pay $6 for the water, the person that was selling the water up there, the bartender, whatever that person was on the second floor where they give the lap dance, she demanded a tip. She demanded a tip. She said, we survive on tips. So she should demanded a tip for just selling her a glass, a bottle of water. It was ridiculous. You know, this is another person demanding me for a tip. So I give her $1 to shut her up, you know. And as I go into the room where they give the lap dance, I remember years ago, you got a lap dance for $20 and you were like sitting on a chair and some guard was looking at you. You didn't get to go up in a private room. So I don't know. This was a private room with a curtain. You're not supposed to touch the girl, but she let me touch her booty. She was supposed to go topless, and she never went topless. And I didn't know that until afterwards when I came down and talked to the other girls. So she never went topless, so she ripped me off on that. She did let me touch her. You're not supposed to touch her. She smelled, literally, she had a nice body, nice booty, pretty face, but she smelled like a skunk down there. It literally smelled like a skunk. It was pretty disgusting. She put her booty in my face and literally smelled like a skunk. I almost threw up. Seriously. Anyways, after that whole thing, I asked the girl, I'm like, hey, do you would you go on dates with guys? You know, you offer them a girlfriend experience after you leave the club? She says, no. She says, a lot of girls who don't do that, and I don't do that. I said, okay. And I ended up giving her like a $5 tip. And I ended up giving her like a $5 tip. And that was about it. You know, I gave her a $5 tip. She was happy about that, and I went back down to talk to my nephew. And as I went back down there, a couple of girls came up to me, a dark-skinned black girl and another girl that was light-skinned that was mixed with black and something else. And they all wanted to sell a dance. They all wanted to sell you the $60 dance. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay no $60. In the United States, for $60, you get a lap dance for 10 minutes. In Mexico, for $60, I can date 2 girls at the massage parlor and be with them for an hour each, and get from each one, get 20 minutes of service, 20 minutes of shower, and 20 minutes fun time. So there's no way I'm going to pay $60 to get teased. You know, I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's really depressing. Strip clubs, the most depressing place where you get teased and you don't get nothing out of it. A lot of the girls won't even date you outside of the club, you know. But and then I just talked to a couple of girls, and I asked them if they work outside of the club and offer a girlfriend experience, date a guy. They said no. They were pitching me the $60 dance, and I offered one of them a drink that I was clicking with, and she's like, well, I mean, which was kind of unusual. She said, we're not allowed to sit over here and drink with you. She said, if you buy a lap dance for $60, you can buy me a drink up there. And I'm like, that's crazy, you know. You know, you could end up, you know, getting a girl, you know, for $60 for a 10-minute, 15-minute dance, and you buy her a $10, $15 drink. That's almost 70, $75, and you only got 10 minutes or time. I mean, come on. I mean, uh, maybe if you spend more money, they would date you, give you their phone number or Facebook, but they don't want to do that for a $10 drink. I don't know. That is what it is. Any way you look at it, any way you slice it or dice it, it's depressing. Depressing. The American strip club is one of the most depressing places to go to as far as adult entertainment. I mean, in reality, that's just reality. The American sports bar, American pub, those are depressing too. There's a bunch of drunk girls, lowlives that are just looking to milk guys for drinks, tearing up their liver with all these drinks and alcohol. Anyway, you slice it or dice it, the bar scene, the American bar scene, club, pub, lounge, sports bar, whatever you want to call it, an American strip club scene, it's a waste of money. It's dangerous. There's a lot of nut jobs out there, drunks, and it's expensive, and it's a waste of money and a waste of time. Now, I'm not against some strip clubs, I mean, I want to go to different strip clubs and see what the atmosphere is, what the feel is. Maybe you go to a strip club, maybe you can meet a girl that would date you outside, or maybe you have one that's got more comfortable seating or lets you buy the girl drinks and talk to them or whatever. But overall, even strip clubs in Mexico are a ripoff. So learning about it, learning. But that was my experience at an American strip club. Will I go back there? No, I don't believe I would ever go back to this one strip club, because I'm not going to go to no strip club and pay $60 for somebody to tease me for 10 minutes. I mean, come on, man. That is such a waste of money, a waste of time. And at least the girls if you're going to hire a girl to be there, they weren't bad looking, but at least be hygienic, at least clean yourself. I mean, I don't know how these girls can't smell what they smell like, And if you put your hand down there, and your whole hand would smell like a skunk. And that was one of the most disgusting things, It smelled really bad. Now, it smelled like a skunk. Literally, she smelled like a skunk on the inside. I mean, it was disgusting. Pretty girl like that, smell like that is a turnoff. I don't care how pretty you are. If you smell like a skunk, you smell like a skunk. It's a turnoff. Anyways, it is what it is. That's the experience, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pop on out of here. And in a nutshell, you might ask why I'm here on Facebook. I'm honored because I can and I want to be, not because I need to be or have to answer to anybody. It's just a platform for me to talk on and to tell my side of the story, my side of things, and my 2 cents. And that's about it. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. I felt like coming on today. I had these things on my mind to talk about and to get off my chest. And I'll let you guys watch it and you guys comment on what you think. That's my experience at a strip club. But I plan to go to more strip clubs and see the differences, see what they're like, and maybe, everyone's going to be different. Every business is different. That's what I learned about life, man. Every business that you go to runs things differently, A lot of them are similar in a lot of ways, but that one thing that's different about one or the other might make a difference in you liking it or not. In general, all businesses are usually run the same, but that is what it is. That one little difference might tweak it, might make a difference for the person that's consumer that's going out, I love strip clubs, but a skunk, yeah, that's what it literally smelled. It literally smelled like a skunk. It smelled like rotten piss. It was the smell of, when you go into it was disgusting. When you go into like a Mexican bar and you see all this pee in the toilet that they don't flush, and it smells like yellow, rotten, old pee, that's what she smelled like. It was reeking of like a rotten urine smell. I guess more than skunk. probably mixed with probably a little skunk, you know. But it was disgusting. I mean, I wouldn't say skunk, but rotten pee. I don't know. It was disgusting. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have a good night. That's about all I want to say. I am exhausted here, spending a few days with my nephew, going to these different places. We did a lot of driving around and exploring and spend some quality time with him before he goes and does what he has to do in his life. But thought I'd share the experience with you guys. So, I don't know. I'm not going to dox this place or say where I was at because I know people will call and all that. And I'll never go back there again, but it is what it is. I don't want no business deserves to be bothered by trolls, so I'm not going to talk about it. All right, Brent. See you guys later. Have a good night, folks. I'm going to out of here.